If I can do the 1,400 texts with tens of millions of dollars in the bank account, what is holding you back, mother broke? Like, all you have to do is show up and commit. And then you refine the strategy. But don't focus on strategy until you're putting in the hours. Most people don't trust themselves. And the reason they don't trust themselves is because they are in auto self-sabotage mode 24/7. Everything that they do, they're sabotaging themselves. No wonder you can't trust yourself. No wonder you don't have any courage. No wonder you think you're going to fail. Is because your mind is literally telling you, dude, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. So you need to start on the small wins. Start focusing on the small wins. Get groomed. Clean your room. Start hanging out with good people. Read a chapter in a book and say, I'm going to read a chapter, and you sit down and you read it. Right? I'm going to read this news article, and you sit down and you read it. I'm going to eat good food and not bad food, and you do it, and you start building trust with yourself. Trust, reputation, rapport. And then you realize, wow, I can actually do anything that I want because I trust myself to do it. Broke people and successful people are both self-made, but only the rich and successful will admit it. They're the only ones that will admit it. The person that's broke, that's struggling, it's hard for them to admit that they are there because of the way that they think. But they are there because of the way that they think. Not only that, but it's also understanding that you can't solve the problems in your life with the same information that caused the problems in the first place. Yeah. You need new information. So you need to become a new person. There are rules to success. These rules are non-avoidable, they're universal, and they are applied across the board. And the first rule is have a goal, right? Without a goal, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you're headed. There's a high likelihood that you're going to fail. Whether you have a convoy, whether it's a ship going to the ocean, if you know your destination, where you want to go, it's easier than if you don't. And the truth is, most people walk around in life like accidents. They don't know why they do what they do. If I was to go to your local town, if I was to go to your local town, Mo, back home, and I was to ask people, what is your goal? 99 out of 100 people don't have. Oh, and you eat McDonald's. Do you eat McDonald's understanding that the reason you're eating McDonald's is because you've been conditioned to eat McDonald's like a peasant? Or do you understand and have enough self-worth, right, to be like, I'm not gonna fill my body with shit? So what I've come to realize is a lot of people are forcing themselves to do good things. They're forcing themselves to get educated. They're forcing themselves to train. They're forcing themselves to go out and have conversations with people, or enjoy the sunlight, or exercise, or have a healthy routine, instead of becoming the type of individual that enjoys those things. And the way that you become the individual that actually enjoys these things that are healthy is by realizing that all of these things will lead you to making more money, that all these things will lead you to finding better relationships, to being more happy, to being a better rounded individual. So instead of forcing yourself to get educated, instead of forcing yourself to eat healthy, ask yourself, why is it that I don't enjoy these things? Yeah. And answering that question is the most important thing, because you need to address that. Like, you not exercising is like, what's wrong with you?
You're the problem.
Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you here that is telling you, nah?
Yeah, why am I not doing it?
And that's the question, is because if not, you're going to be the guy that's always fighting against your mind. You want your mind to be on your side.
I heard
but
you
need to train it.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, God will sell you anything at the price of labor. And that is true. So what you have to do is, if you want something, you have to work for it. Mm-hmm. And most people that think that the world is based off of luck have never truly worked for something. Not enough to understand that luck does not exist. It's merely a game of probabilities. You work hard, you work more, you work longer.
And that's the thing, is like, if you're not motivated, it's for a few reasons. Either you don't like what you're doing, either you don't understand the mission as to why you're doing something. Dude, if your family's starving, if you have to feed your kids,
you'll work hard.
Dude, you'll get shit done. Most of you guys are comfortable.
Yeah, they don't want it enough.
Soft. They don't want it. You don't want it, dude. If you want it, you get up and do it. You do the things that you want to do. You put time into the things that you want to put time into. Committed to my goals. I can't cheat myself, bro. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with the self-sabotage. I'm here to win, not win against the world. I'm trying to beat myself. I beat myself every day. Conquer, conquer, conquer. Because if you can conquer yourself, you can conquer anyone. Because you're the most difficult enemy you will ever face. If you can conquer self, dude, you can build a multi-billion empire from the ground up. If you can literally commit to developing yourself full time, dude, you can build an empire. What is holding you back? Nothing. Exactly. Yourself, myself. So we gotta commit and stop like all this. What tactics? Commit, dude. Commit. Get it done. Get it done. If I can do the 1,400 texts with tens of millions of dollars in the bank account, what is holding you back, mother? Broke. Like all you have to do is show up and commit, and then you refine the strategy. But don't focus on strategy until you're putting in the hours.
You can't cheat it. You can't cheat it. Like you could cheat your way through school. You could cheat your way through lying to your parents. You could cheat, but it's like fighting. It's like the gym. You got to show up. And if you don't show up, the moment that you have to prove yourself, you fall. So if you want to be a real entrepreneur, go actually start a business. Go work for somebody. Go be a number 2. Go be a number 3 in a company. Figure out the basics of accounting. Like the simple shit.
How you do little things is how you do everything. They want fast results. Easy come, easy go. Easy come, easy go. Instant gratification, fast gratification. That's what they want. And that's what you'll get. Microwave results. I'm slow cooking. Dude, where are you going in a rush? To the grave? Like that's the end goal. You end up at the grave. Me, every single day I show up. Slow cooking, slow roasting, my success. And in due time, when I deserve it, my life will manifest that I've actually earned it. I'm not here to microwave nothing, dude. I'm taking my day, every single day, enjoying my process of developing myself. And ultimately, dude, I'm gonna win. But just because it's hard doesn't mean it's bad. I prefer doing hard things that are gonna push me to the next level than doing hard things because I'm poor or doing hard things because I'm unhealthy. I wanna do hard things that are gonna push me to elevate, to become the man that I know I can be, the entrepreneur that I know that I can be, the boss that I know that I can be. And I think that we can encourage people with that, dude. And I hope this was of super value to people. You gotta rewatch it. Like it's like going to school and assuming that you're gonna read one piece of information once and digest it. No, you gotta reread it, sit down, analyze, meditate, think, strategize, reread it, figure it out, re-strategize it, write it down, make it your own, internalize it. And when you internalize it, now you have a strategy. You can't memorize this. You can't cheat your way to the top. You gotta put in the hours, 365 motherfucking days a year. Pay me directly in correlation to that which I have given it. Just like a field, right? Whatever you sow, the mind doesn't care what you feed it. But whatever you feed it, it will return in direct proportion to that which you fed.
The destination, everybody looks at, right? Nobody looks at the process. But when you look at the process, that's the prize. And the truth is, the price of progress is pain. The price of progress is pain. Most people do not want to experience pain. They like comfort. So if you want progress, you must be willing to, in the process, experience pain so that you may achieve your goal.
Everyone is self-made, but only the successful people will admit it. The unsuccessful people will not admit that they created that lack of success. They will blame the big man. They will blame the imaginary thumb that's pressing them down. They'll blame religion. They'll blame race. They'll blame everything except themselves. Every person is self-made. Every single person is self-made because you are a construct of what? Your thoughts and your decisions. Nobody told you that you had to go do something. Nobody told you that you had to think a certain way. And if you did, and somebody told you that, are you a slave? Or are you a free person? And if you understand that you have freedom and sovereignty, now you understand, like you said, you're fully accountable for every decision that you make. And when you're successful, oh, you want all the praise, right? When you're successful, hey, look at me. Look what I did. I'm fully responsible for this. But it's the same thing with lack of success, and it's the same thing with failure. And most people, when they fail, they don't like to look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what? Maybe I have to change. People want change to happen to them. They don't want to change. And when you realize that change isn't going to happen to you, you need to actually proactively determine your future. Then and only then can you actually take not only full accountability for your good actions, your bad actions, but for your full life.
The reason I'm a winner is not because I have a better brain capacity, because my brain processing power is so much better. No, I'm actually dedicated to what? To winning.
I've come to realize is that there's two types of pains in life, right? The pain of discipline or the pain of self-regulation, where you actually take control of your life and it hurts, right? Like you did professional weightlifting, you did professional training. There's a process. You probably hit plateaus of physique. You probably hit times where you hurt your body and you had to repair. These are challenges. Most people would quit. But then you have the pain of regret. And then the pain of regret weighs so much more because it weighs in your mind. And what I've come to understand is that if you can self-regulate and you can go through the pain of exploration, go through the pain of not knowing, go through the hardships of uncertainty, which comes with entrepreneurship and comes with paving your own way, it's a lot better than the pain of regret that most people end up experiencing when they don't take control of their lives.
Most people walk around with no goals, no ambition. They don't know where they're going. It's like a ship with no destination. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. Once you know where you want to go, then you direct your time, your energy, and your attention to what? To the execution and the achievement of that goal. If you want to make money, you will make money. If you want a good network, you will have a good network. If you want to build a great podcast with great hosts and great guests, you will build a podcast in that way. It's all about intention. But most people walk around in life thinking that life is just a big fat lottery. And it's just not that case. Those that live by the lottery of life most likely end up losing because you're just gambling. I don't want to gamble with my life. So what I do is I set a goal, and then I focus my time, energy, and attention, which truly are the only assets that you have. So when a lot of people come to me, they're like, Luke, I have nothing. Brother, you and I have the same exact thing: time, energy, and attention. But what you use your time for, it doesn't yield a return. What I use my time for yields a return. You get paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. Elon Musk said that once. You get paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. Most people that don't make money, they don't solve problems. They don't spot problems. They don't capitalize on problems. If you solve small problems, you'll get paid very little. The guy flipping the patties, like Tate says, somebody's got to flip the fucking burgers.
It's true.
But they solve very small problems.
So
they
you
get
get a
paid in
small pay.
proportion to what? Solving that problem. You put a man on Mars, you'll get paid in proportion to solving that problem. So you need to focus your time, your energy, and attention to solving big problems. And hopefully your goal is to serve humanity. So you align your goal with a servant's heart of providing for humanity. And of course there's scammers out there, there's people that aren't good, but I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking about people I want to build real, sustainable, and scalable businesses. That is going to require time, energy, and attention. But you need to know where you're going. People don't trust themselves, and the reason they don't trust themselves is because they are in auto self-sabotage mode 24/7. Everything that they do, they're sabotaging themselves. No wonder you can't trust yourself. No wonder you don't have any courage. No wonder you think you're going to fail. Is because your mind is literally telling you, dude, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. So you need to start on the small wins. Start focusing on the small wins. Get groomed. Clean your room. Start hanging out with good people. Read a chapter in a book and say, I'm going to read a chapter, and you sit down and you read it. Right? I'm going to read this news article, and you sit down and you read it. I'm going to eat good food and not bad food, and you do it, and you start building trust with yourself. Trust, reputation, rapport. And then you realize, wow, I can actually do anything that I want because I trust myself to do it. Broke people and successful people are both self-made, but only the rich and successful will admit it. They're the only ones that will admit it. The person that's broke, that's struggling, it's hard for them to admit that they are there because of the way that they think. But they are there because of the way that they think. Not only that, but it's also understanding that you can't solve the problems in your life with the same information that caused the problems in the first place. You need new information. So you need to become a new person. I was addicted to getting fucking mentally strong. And not just physically strong, not just hustling, but mentally strong. Because the Bible says it, as a man thinketh, so is he. So what you think about yourself becomes the reality of who you are. So what you put in here is going to manifest itself through your life. So I've realized I just need to insert so much good stuff here that it will naturally be a byproduct of what I spit out. And it worked. You need to understand, like, everything in life and initially feels like bad reinforcement. You start going to the gym, you feel weak in order to become strong. You go to the library, you read, you don't understand, you feel stupid in order to become smart. The process of discomfort is inevitable. You have to go through it. Most people have that initial feeling, that initial lack of self-belief, because they don't understand that they have to be humbled first in every aspect in order to grow. So you go to the gym, you feel like shit, that's a good thing. It just shows you that you need to improve.
If you want to level up in life, you need to focus on reducing liabilities and increasing your odds of winning. Good habits, good relationships, positive mindset, positive affirmations, things that elevate your consciousness and your mindset. And treat yourself with kindness, grace, and respect, because it's the first time that you're experiencing this game. Once you treat yourself that way and you understand that failure isn't a bad thing, failure is just an inevitable part of the process, you just continue attempting and attempting and attempting, and through those attempts, you become a master of life.
All you have to do is change your mindset and be like, hey, you know what? Instead of looking at the situation negatively, you may look at it positively. Well, how do I do it? I don't know. Lie to yourself until you believe it, just like you lied to yourself about the negative shit. But once you understand that you can't solve the problems in your life with the same mindset and the same information that gave you the problems in the first place, then you understand that you need a renewed mind and you need new information in order to behave differently. Is make it so easy to win that it becomes difficult to lose. If you're struggling with your diet, why the fuck would you have cake in your house? You're setting yourself up for loss. If you have debt, why do you have a credit card? Make it so easy to win that it becomes impossible to lose. Just make it easy for yourself. Position yourself. If you have cigarette addiction, why do you have a pack of cigarettes in your car?
Don't hang out with people that smoke.
It makes no sense. You need to position yourself. Make it easy. Positioning. Positioning is key. The reason we are where we are today is because we understand how to position ourselves.
Everything originates in the mind. You know, the idea is what inspires the opportunity for you to get up and pursue a business. The inspiration that you observe and you think about, and when you observe an athlete win, and that inspires you to endeavor and work hard and become an athlete yourself. Everything originates in the mind. That's why the system is after your mind. You know, from the moment you're born, they start indoctrinating you with the school system, and they indoctrinate you with, you know, what's important, what's not important. They attribute your self-worth and your value to what you have to give to the system as opposed to who you are as an individual. So when I begin to evaluate kind of the entirety of how society works, most people don't focus on their mindset. Most people are focused on exterior factors. They think that everything that happens to them is by chance. And they don't realize that a lot of the things that happen to them are things that they attract. Because you attract the things that you are, and you are what you do, and you do what you think about. So it's all a cyclical loop. Most people don't understand the power of the mind. That's why they haven't tapped into the power of the mind. And the power of the mind is one very simple thing: the ability to direct your attention towards a specific given objective, and then to have the willpower to pursue it. Most people, obviously, don't know where they're going because they never have a goal. You need to have a clear goal. If you don't have a goal, you don't know where you're going to go in life. If I ask you today, what's your financial goal for this year, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, would you be able to answer? Would you be able to say, yeah, this is my goal? And I'm not talking about how many millions of dollars you want to have. I'm talking about the positioning. What type of business are you going to have that's going to generate cash flow? What type of investments do you want to have? You need to be able to be very specific about the life that you want, about who you want to become. Mindset, your ability to develop thoughts,
is extremely important because your thoughts dictate and create your reality. Thoughts lead to actions, actions lead to behaviors, and behavior leads to lifestyle.